Welcome to Rebecca Sounds Reveille. This is going to be a laughable episode for you. You're going to love it. We're going to have so much fun because with us today are two show hosts and comedians. Both of them are veterans. I'm going to tell you a little bit about one of them, and I'm going to let the other share about the however it works. Anyway, so with us today is Ricardo, Rico, Abdel, Aviles, and he was born and raised and educated in Puerto Rico. At a very young age, he was part of FBLA, and he can tell us a little bit about that in case you're not familiar, but he was also trained and utilized as a Spanish translator for his high school. Pretty exciting, because wait till you hear where that took him. He was competing and representing the island, and he started about the age of 17, but he is really a lover of language, of many languages. And so with that, I shared with you earlier that he's also a veteran. He's a veteran from the United States Army after serving 5 years as a military police. He was in Iraq in 2008 through 9. He did special reactions team. He was a patrol officer, and he's also earned, wait for it, the Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal for service in his community, as well as participating in this is really devastating, the tornado that hit Joplin, Missouri back in 2011. This is a lot. This is a lot of accomplishments. Just wait, because there's more. And he's also a purple belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And he can really, you're going to hear this, you're going to love this, because he can defend himself with more than words.
Ooh, that's helpful.
Like or maybe today it will be just words. No defense needed. We're going to talk about everything today. But as a comedian, he's opened and performed with a lot of very well-known people. He has a podcast on iHeartRadio, and his guests are absolutely phenomenal. He'll tell you a little bit about that. But first, he's going to tell you a little bit about his co-host. So welcome me and welcoming Rico.
How's it going, Rebecca?
Hi.
Hello.
It's good. It's good to see you. First of all, thanks for having us. Like she said, my name is Ricardo Abdel Aviles. This is one of my best friends and my co-host, Eric McElroy. Eric is also a comedian. He's a writer. You're an author, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you wrote a book, a kid's book. He just did like a couple of shows up in Kentucky to try to get on Sirius XM.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still waiting on that to know that, that takes time. And yeah, he's one of my homies. He hangs out with me a little too much sometimes. Well, we work together too.
Well,
so.
His wife gets jealous.
She does. It's very difficult to not. I mean, look at him. He's 50 and he looks like he's not past the day of 49. So it's doing really good.
Me too.
I love it. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you very much.
Tell me what branch also, so that the listeners can thank you as well.
I was in the U.S. Navy, and I was there for 20 years. So I have a little. Richard quit after 5 years. It's just horrible.
I was just smart enough to see it.
You're a quitter. You're a quitter.
Oh boy!
It gets so much worse at the comedy club.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
At the comedy club, we're really saying way worse things. Trust me.
The camera's off. We are terrible to each other.
Yeah. No, we're not terrible. We love each other. But
if somebody walked into the conversation,
going on the buddy system.
I didn't know. Well, I think he was like. See, I went in 88, and you were what, 12?
No, 88. I was 1 year old.
See, he was 1 year old.
That might be why.
So,
but we get along.
I don't know what
so
the regs
well.
are for bringing a baby in with the boot camp.
I think that's called trafficking.
That's trafficking. Yeah, that is trafficking. Yeah.
Well, you could have went in at a little bit older of an age, and
I went in at 19. Like I went in 2007. I swore in 2008. I left. Like I left. Like I had nothing on me. I had like one backpack and a pair of jeans that I still have, by the way, which is funny. I left, and I was like, not coming back. See you later.
So how did the two of you become friends? You have a story here.
Well, see, he was trying to ride a motorcycle. He was in the ditch, and I felt bad.
No, I wasn't. That sounds so horrible.
It does
I started comedy about 2.5 years ago, and Eric's been doing it for like what, 5 or 6?
5, yeah, 5 years.
5.
Yeah.
So like when I started, I was like, it was just me and like, I was one, you know, it was him and like another dude that was a veteran and me. And like, you know, I try to get along with everybody. And then like one day me and Eric just started drinking together and we started talking. Next, you know, it's like, I think they kicked us out of like billiards.
Yeah.
Because it was like almost like past midnight.
Yeah.
And like, that was it. Like ever since then, like we've toured together, we've traveled together. We've, you know, he slept in my house. like, you know, my kid loves him. He plays with my kid and is a little too nice sometimes. Just lets my kid get away with murder sometimes. So
Uncle Eric,
I don't have to raise her. I can spoil her.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, I give her a bunch of sugar when she's not looking, and then I leave. So
that's the way to do it.
Exactly.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Throw my kid
up,
in jiu-jitsu.
Then leave them, and
that's what I do.
Just pull out the mat and just do jiu-jitsu, and she'll get tired. Trust me.
Yes. Well, I got 16.
No.
18 nieces and nephews. Mm-hmm. So
wow, that's a lot.
One of them just joined too.
So yeah, and one of them
in Leonardwood.
Yeah, he's in Fort Leonardwood.
Yeah.
So I joined the Navy, and my brothers and sisters got busy. And
yeah,
they were active while you were
gone. They were active. Yeah. They were very active. I was active duty, and they were just active.
Yeah, I think my uncle and my grandfather were in. That was about it. I think my uncle and my grandfather were in too.
That's really neat. Thank you both. Thank you both for serving and all that you continue to do, because you're still involved in so many different ways. Let's talk a little bit about your show.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
Well, it's on iHeartRadio, which is
it's pretty
deal. Awesome. Yeah, it's well, you know what's funny, man? I love telling this story. We didn't realize how big it was, because when we applied, it got approved in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Which is unheard of.
I love her face. She's like,
it really is, because it takes a long time for most people to get in there.
So like I put in the code, like the RSS code, filled it out. I had the artwork, like all the simple things.
Yeah.
And I had like a phrase and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like a tagline.
Yeah. Like our tagline is it's just Rico and friends.
BYOB.
BYOB. Bring your own buds, which means your buddies, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I put it in like 2 hours later, like came home. I go, oh, cool. Like we got it. All right, cool. And I texted him. He goes, oh, cool. Okay, we're on Spotify, whatever. Not knowing. And I like posted it. I posted it that night. And like the next morning I wake up and I had 287 messages.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I guess this is a big deal, because now we can put it on our posters for comedy and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And we didn't like still realize like how big of a deal it was. We were like really like, whatever. And then I talked to Jennifer Lawrence. She works at iHeart over here. She smokes cigars. And she's like, hey, congrats on your podcast being on. I was like, I started listening to it. I love it. I go, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
like, when I tell this to people, they're like, what? How? I'm like, yeah, but we didn't realize it. And then when we realized it, we were like, oh,
yeah.
Like we really gotta like, deal. Like we really gotta take it seriously.
It didn't hit because it was so quick. Because
one of our comedy friends told us.
Yeah, because we were thinking we put it in and then we'll wait 2 or 3 months.
Yeah,
that's usually how it works. Yep.
And then they'll tell us no. I'm like, okay, cool. I figured that's how that works.
We'll do that again, and if you say no a second time, then okay, cool.
Yeah. Well,
so that's what we were expecting, and then 2 hours later, it's like, well, they must be hurting for content.
We actually had somebody. We actually had somebody tell us that. They were like, they said, yeah, man, it's super easy to get on iHeart. I'm on iHeart, you know. And Eric was like, well, we know of people that, you know, they haven't been able to get in.
Yeah.
They must be comedians. They don't know what they're doing. And Eric just looked at her. I was like, yeah, I guess so. And he just walked away. As soon as he walks up to me, it's like Gossip Girl, like, get in the car. Get in the car. Like, what? And he tells me, and I literally just start dying of laughter. I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
Yeah, comedians can't get on.
Comedians can't get on.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your show. When did you start? And I mean, because you have some big names on your show.
Yeah,
actually, tell them when we first, because we were toying with the idea for a while, and
we've been toying for the idea for 2 years.
Yeah, and
I mean 2.5 years now.
Yeah, and then
Kevin
Farley. We did a show with Kevin Farley.
Well, I did a bunch of podcasts too. Like I went on like a bunch of podcasts for like 2 years.
Yeah,
and I got interviewed like a ton, and then I had told him about it, and we had some other friends. And Kevin Farley came. Yeah, Kevin. You can tell that part because you get excited about Kevin.
Yeah, but Kevin was,
which
so it was in between shows. It was before he went on.
We were smoking cigars.
And everything else, and then Kevin Farley, he's got his cigar, and he's like,
"You should do
Richard. You should do a podcast." And then after that, after talking to him for 2 years about it, he goes like, "Ding, let's do that. Let's do it." Kevin Farley blessed it. I'm going to.
Well, because like I didn't. So like I didn't. What he's not telling you is like I didn't know who like Chris Farley was. Right. It wasn't something that I grew up with. So like these a-holes decided to like make it very clear that I'm unaware of who he is.
I didn't say that.
And one of the comics that we traveled with, Late and Flat, he's in the back going, "Oh my God, I love you in this." And I'm like just sitting there. Just praying to Jesus, he don't even acknowledge me, and I'm like, just not gonna say.
I'm just a driver.
And the comic goes, "Yeah, he's from Puerto Rico. He's never seen your stuff or your brother's stuff. He doesn't know who you are."
That was a good out.
Kevin Farley goes, "Oh, really?" You go, "What do you do?" I was like, "Oh, I was in the army." "Oh, you were in the army?" I was like, "Yeah." And he says to me, "Did you ever find yourself like, when you like homeless, like maybe in a van down by the river?" And I go, "Yeah, see, you're laughing." I go,
I'm just listening.
I go, "Nah, man, I was pretty lucky." And he looks at me, he goes, "I like you, Richard." And I was like, "What happened?" So I get home and I tell my wife, and immediately my wife pulls the YouTube clip of "In a van down by the river." And I was like, "Oh, I know nothing. I feel so ashamed." But then he was like super nice because I got him like these cigars that he wanted because he saw that I smoked cigars, and he's like, "You smoke cigars?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Can you get me these?" And I got on the phone and I told the cigar owner can we do a shout out, by the way? I don't know if we can mention people. If that's
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, just for him. I've been going there for like 12 years now, 13 years. And I go, "Hey, I'm with Kevin Farley. I need these cigars." He goes, "Yeah, I'll pack them for you." Nice. And Kevin's like, "Okay, whatever." And then when he sees the cigars, he goes, "Oh my God, you really got them. Thank you so much."
Yeah.
And he just smoked with us the whole time. He's like talking about his friend, Bill Burr.
Yeah.
And Eric over here is a big Bill Burr fan. And he like leans in like this. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool, man. It's nice to have friends. I have a friend like that, like Eric." And Eric's like, "Did you just compare me to Bill Burr?"
Then the very next day, I wanted to shave my head. And I was like, I want to be Bill Burr.
I keep telling him he just has to do it. But yeah, our show is pretty great, man. Our show, I didn't think the show would be where it's at, because we started the show because we had we had applied to be on a show on Vet TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And the guy who was running it was Jordan Rex, which we had him on the podcast. And Jordan, we got a thing saying, "Hey, we need you to write a joke about this."
Yeah, it was three.
It was three varied things, and you have 24 hours.
And it was very.
And we're comics, and we're like, "Oh, immediately, yeah. I know where we're going.
I know we're going with this." Yeah.
And we went there, and it was a very dark joke, and they loved it. And they go, "Well, it's between you guys and these two other guys.
Okay.
We're gonna go with the other guys." And we were like so crushed.
Yeah, I bet.
Because it would have been union pay too, is the thing.
Yeah.
So I asked the guy, I said, "Hey man, like what happened?" And he goes, "Yeah, you guys are hilarious and you write your own stuff, but you have no social media presence like at all. Like maybe if you had a couple thousand friends or something, like I'd listen to you, but like, dude, you have no social media presence." So I got like mad. Like we got like super mad. And then I was like, "No, we're doing a podcast."
Yeah, we're doing a podcast.
And sure as hell, like I kept like postponing it, like, "Oh, well, I need to, save money for that." And then like one night at like 1:40 in the morning, we were coming from a show in St. Louis with Giovanni King, and Eric starts like antagonizing me. "Dude, no." And G King is like, "Yeah, man, I thought you cared about me, homie. How about you interview me?" And I was like, "You know what?" So I slapped the phone on, and then I went on Anchor. I had a logo. I had a logo already because it was a logo that I used for like stickers for my comedy show, right? So I was like, "Oh, this will make a great logo. It looks dope, and it's like it represents me." And then I told Eric about it, and like Eric's like, "Yeah," and here we are, you know, we had Tommy Chong on, we had Larry Hankin, we had Rolly Delgado. We had Lee Berry, who just had a stroke and he's doing fine.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And it's funny, it's fun, you know, it's fun. We're trying to monetize now and really try to like help pay for stuff, you know, because travel and other things we want to do. But
yeah, let me just kind of interject right here, because I want to really point something out with the audience. And in this day and age, with a lot of people doing podcasting, having their own TV shows, and there's a new thing on the horizon where people are buying certain amounts of sort of television bandwidth and then trying to sell spots on the show. And here's the thing about going into any of this in entertainment, whether it's your own show, whether it's getting picked up as a brand ambassador or some type of an influencer. This is the thing, like you experienced. I really want to hit home with some people who are trying to get out there. They're an entrepreneur, or they want to get involved in entertainment somehow, some way, or have messages, or just whatever the case may be. The thing is, back in the day when I was growing up, you were hoping to get picked up with somebody as a sponsor, and then they'd pay you $1 million for wearing their tennis shoes or or whatever. That is not how things work anymore at all. Doesn't matter where you're at on the spectrum, unless you are already a mega star for something like that. Nowadays, the first thing that they look at when you're applying to be a brand ambassador or to get into certain things like you were talking about is what is the amount of social media on each different platform that you have. And if you don't have it, they don't want to bring you to the table. And the reason why is because all of those people that are followers are potential customers. So basically that's kind of like a free advertising for them.
Yeah. And
they're using you.
Yeah. And here's the thing is, like, I used to be sponsored by Q5 Sports Nutrition. Okay. Like when I was a full-time athlete for jiu-jitsu, like that's all I did was train for about 2.5 years. And let me tell you that being an athlete's not fun. It's not fun. No, it's not as fun as people think it is.
It's not as fun.
No, there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of rules you have to follow. You know, you can't be getting a lot of work, can't be getting in trouble. You know, you're training 8 hours a day, a lot of laundry, a lot of food cooking, a lot of, you know, in jiu-jitsu, at least there's more drilling aspect of it. And I was sponsored by Q5, and I always understood the idea of like, yeah, you guys just want me to promote your stuff. I think the problem that a lot of people like find or run into is that, like, for us, like, we don't promote anything we don't believe in or that I use, right?
That's important.
Because the thing is, like, and I better know everything that I can about it, because before I open my mouth, and like, I think that was like the cool thing about Q5, which is now called Origin Labs, which is owed, I think it's co-owned by Jocko, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Brian and Jocko.
Yeah, Brian and Jocko. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jocko is one of the owners. They got some stuff from Bill Thomas, who I had on my podcast. And like, one of the things that Bill told me, he's like, because Bill used to give me like a lot of supplements, like, and their supplements were great. He still has the formulas. There was one formula that I swear to you, if you took that, you didn't get tired. You didn't get tired for like 3 hours. There was no jitters, no nothing. It was all, it was just ridiculous. And I remember he told me, he gave me a chance because he's like, dude, you talk, like, you can talk. Like, and I want to listen to you talk. Like, it's pretty cool. And like, after that, like, I was like, yep, I can find sponsors.
Well, that's really good. But what I wanted to really share with the audience is to do what you did. Instead of putting your eggs into expecting someone to utilize all of your social media, your presence there, and then give you 10% off the products because you've promoted it. That isn't the direction that you as an entrepreneur should be looking at. You need to go out there and create your own path, because you'll generate things that are going to be very authentic to your mores, your values, and the things that you want to share with people. And when you do that, you're going to build a following that's actually going to support what you want to do. And it will create new avenues of opportunity for you. And that's exactly what happened in your case. This is what you did. And look, now, boom, iHeartMedia. You guys said, I'm not doing this. Forget this. We're doing our own thing. And this is where it's at. And now you have new goals for your show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why we get monetized is we can do actually better videos. We can actually get the put YouTube stuff and all that. But you need
you need some cameras.
You need
like
some cameras.
Things.
We just unfortunately it takes money to upgrade the stuff that we got,
so
we can do better shows.
Yeah,
and that's our number one goal, really, is to do better. We want to do better shows.
It's really to do better because, like, we're both, we're both good, like, money wise. Like, we're both, with our VA benefits and stuff like that, and retired and stuff. But, like, the stuff we do, like, we put all of our effort into it. Like, I don't like half-assing things, and the only reason I'm doing this and I feel like I'm half-assing it is because it's like, oh no, like, this can improve. Like, this isn't going to be perfect in the beginning, but it's going to improve.
Yeah.
It's kind of refreshing to watch where you were at one point, because if I go back to one of the first shows that I did when I went into radio, this is long before what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
What a disaster. I mean, it was nothing like I had planned when it came out. It was live. I had a 2-hour solo. I had no guest, and I had to have 2 hours. And this was what I was doing every week, 2 hours solo. And that's really challenging, to have a lot of content without any interaction from anybody that stays engaging to the listeners. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Bill Burr does that really well.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Burr, but it's, I mean, if you listen to it, it sounds like it's too much work because he's talking about global problems and he's making jokes on the spot. Like, if you look at what he's doing artistically, that's, because I could talk for we've talked for 8 hours in a car. Like, we never run out of stuff to talk about, man. You put us in a room and it's like two old ladies, blah, 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 blah. Like,
it's terrible.
Like, it is,
especially if we're drinking.
Yeah.
I haven't drank in a while. I haven't drank in so long. I don't like drinking at shows. I just don't, because
I don't do
that. We really don't. Like, we're pretty good at it because, you're not, if you're a doctor, you don't, let me rephrase this. If you're somebody who's doing something work-wise, like, you wouldn't want to show up to work drunk or high. So we kind of like figured early on, like, we shouldn't do that because it's it's disrespectful to me.
I did experiment with it because I did see a guy. He was it looked like he was drinking like a fish.
And this doesn't apply.
This doesn't apply to everybody.
Yeah.
But he was drinking like a fish. He got on stage and he just killed it. I was like, how the hell did you do that?
Yeah. We know people that are like that they drink.
I could think of a very famous comedian who drinks on stage all the time.
Ron.
Ron.
Right. Yeah, Ron, right?
That's
Ron
him.
White. Ron. Yeah, Ron.
Ron White.
Yeah, Ron.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because
he delivers it quite well. But oftentimes, those who are in that kind of position have built up a tolerance.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
We actually, speaking of tolerance, I got a funny story for you.
It doesn't work if you just try to. You just can't drink and be funny.
You shouldn't drink with your co-host or your host.
No, you shouldn't do that either.
Especially when you have a wine guy not a wine guy. He's a wine
really
connoisseur.
Good wine. Okay.
And I hate to admit this, but I was 4 bottles in. And 2 bottles in, Eric like passed out on me.
You were sharing the bottle. I drank all the white wine.
Dude, our guest on the podcast goes, "Oh my God, you're really like going at it."
Oh my goodness.
I was like, "Oh, it's delicious." And like, I got up and I did the
show,
show, and he was like, "Oh my God!" Like,
I did most of the show.
Whatever.
I love it.
Listen to the episode.
Let me tell you, I really want the audience to connect with you because I think there is so much health benefits, emotionally, mentally, and physically, in laughing and engaging and being educated. There's so much to everything that you guys have to offer in your show. And I would like the audience to find out how they can listen to you and how they can connect and follow you on social media for some of the upcoming things that you have with the goals of your show.
I think the biggest thing is, first of all, thanks for having us, because doing these shows, like, you can talk a lot, but if you're not perfecting a way that you can sit down and have a conversation, you need to like reevaluate what you're doing.
Well, it needs to be organic.
You need to be organic too, which is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Sometimes we try, but we'd like for people to follow us.
Yeah.
If you don't like what we see, like, we appreciate it, but I want to create something that the people enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can follow us on iHeartRadio, Rico Podcast. We're on Spotify. We're not on Apple thingy because of there's an episode that they did not like, something that was said, you know, and you can follow me on social media. Oh, go ahead.
Can you say what your logo is? Because when I was doing a search, there's some other Rico podcasts. So if somebody's going, hey, which one is it? What is your logo looking like?
Oh,
my logo basically looks like me with a cigar and a microphone in my hand, with 2 Pokeballs, a Digivice, and the logo of my interpreting agency. It's called Language Ninja Solutions, but it just has a ninja in the chest. It's just me with a hoodie on like this with a cigar.
Looks like he's wearing a leather jacket too. He's got a purple belt. He's got a purple belt.
My purple belt. Yeah, my purple belt.
Looks like he's wearing a leather jacket and he's got a cigar.
Which I'll whenever, as you know, the next time I'll upgrade it is when I get my black belt. I'm not upgrading that when I get my brown
Awesome. Belt. Okay, and how can they connect with you on social media?
Richard Aviles on Facebook. You can find me. It's my podcast logo. On Instagram, language_ninja. Follow me on TikTok. I'm trying to grow that. It's a Richard Aviles 51. And just follow us on social media. You'll be able to find us. Eric, what's your stuff?
Well, I got the on Facebook, it's Eric J. McElroy. And I also have a website. It's McElroy Comedy. You can follow that. I'm on TikTok, which is also finally, yeah, I know. I did it yesterday. Yesterday I got TikTok, so I'm on there, and that's under Eric McElroy. So you can find me on there, and I've been putting videos up every day, and
proud of him.
Yeah,
proud of him.
I'm on Instagram and Twitter too, but
he kills on Instagram. He's got 5,700 or something like that.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah, he does very well. But yeah, thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for having us on here.
I am so jazzed, and I thank you guys both for coming on and being here and giving us some laughs and connections, some points to ponder, because I think everybody needs to know that there's a lot going on out there. Pursue your dreams, push it no matter what. And that's the thought, the golden nugget that I'm leaving with them today. So thank you for being on.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And I want to thank all of you for tuning in to another episode of Rebecca Sounds Reveille, where we always like to deliver good information, good guests, and you get resources and tools that make your life healthier, happier, and, well, get this out to everybody you know on social media, your friends, your family, your loved ones, and also everybody you don't. Thanks for tuning in.